Hi, good morning. I'm talking to Keren Hadad-Taub today. Keren is a couples counselor. Hi, Keren, how are you?
Hi, good morning. I'm great. Thank you.
Keren, today we're going to talk a little bit about what couples should know before getting married. Is premarital counseling really necessary for couples before they get married?
Well, research has shown that it is vital because of the increasing rates in divorce these years. Research has shown that couples that have done premarital counseling have done a lot better than couples which haven't. So it is vital. Yes.
And what about premarital counseling within the first year?
Well, I think it really is a cultural thing because in the States and in Europe as well, it is considered very acceptable for couples to go through marriage counseling, and it has been done for years, usually through religious channels. But in Israel, for instance, talking about marital problems is considered a bad omen, which is kind of silly actually because it's more a prevention method. So in cultures that it isn't acceptable, I think that it is a really good solution to tell couples to go and get more guidance in the first year when trouble starts and before it is too bad that that it takes a really long time to remedy it.
What are the major goals with premarital counseling?
Well, it's not really therapy. You don't really go into where I've come from and what are my underlying problems. It is more aimed at giving you tools to deal with issues that come up during the couple's life. Like, for instance, tools in communication. How do I talk and how do I listen? How do I fight better? Because we believe that fighting is a part of life. You can't really go through life without fighting unless you don't really live in the same house and talk to each other. So these are the kind of tools that we aim to give couples in the beginning of their way, when they can practice it on calm waters instead of the rough seas that there are ahead anyway. Even if everything goes smoothly and nicely and you decide to have a baby is rough waters and you have to get ready for it. And you have to know how to talk because then you find out that you have different visions of what marriage life is. We both come with different concepts, each one of us, into the relationship. And if we don't know how to talk about it or how to listen, then we kind of find ourselves drifting apart.
So what would you say are the top tips or tools that you would give couples that they need to know before getting married? What are the major things that need to be discussed?
I think first and foremost, because of the way our economy is going lately, you should talk about money because money is a very intense subject. And if you start talking about it, how I look at money, what are my beliefs about money? Because some people think that if I have money, I should spend it. And then the wife or the husband would say, no, if we have money, we should save it. These are different concepts. And if we talk about it and we see eye to eye, or it doesn't mean we agree on it, but we know that we come from different points of view, then we can start building something together, finding the middle ground where we can both have a nest egg on the one hand, but spend it and enjoy it on the other hand. And that's a real testing ground for our relationship because I believe that communication is everything. And if we can talk about intense subjects, then we can talk about anything. So talking about money is one of the important things. And if you can sit and find the time to build a vision, how do I see my relationship going in 10, 20 years? Where do I see myself in the relationship? If we both sit together and build this joint vision, then we know that we have the same goals, or we are aiming to the same things. So that's a little exercise that you can use to see, are we on the same page?
And with regards to children, is that important to discuss how many children you want before you get married?
Well, that's a very interesting question, because I think each and every one of us who has become a parent knows that what we thought in the beginning is nowhere near the reality. But I think you should, if you build that vision and sit down and write it down, then you realize that I see myself with 10, 15 children, and he sees himself with 2, then there's a big gap. But I think that what is more important is talking about the legacy, how I want to raise my children. And that's an issue that is interesting to talk about, to see how I see myself, even though it is really only practice, because what we say in the beginning doesn't really pan out as we continue, because we always grow in life and we learn new things and we change our minds. So it's not written in stone, but it is a good practice on how to talk and listen and respect each other's opinion. So it is a good exercise.
Do you think that at the base or core of every relationship should be a solid underlying friendship?
Yes, I do. I believe that it is vitally important. And I think we see it in all of our relationships. Even in work, if we can't find a person who respects us and sees us as a person, which is the first step in a friendship, then we don't really want to work with that person. And if we don't respect and see our partner as a person, then we won't want to be their friend, and we won't want to raise children with them, let alone live with them for the next couple of years. So I think that friendship is the vital and first step of a good relationship, and you should keep on investing in that friendship. Not decide that we were friends 20 years ago, that means we're still friends. No. You need to invest in that relationship, know each other as friends. What are my interests? What is the last book I read? What is bothering me at work? These are initial little points in relationships that we usually check in with our girlfriends or our brothers or sisters or mothers, but we forget to check in with our partners. So that is, I believe, it's the first step, and that's what I usually teach couples who come into for sessions.
There's a very well-known saying that says, love conquers all. What are your thoughts in this regard?
I'd like to believe it so, but you can also interpret it that love conquers all, and if we believe that divorce isn't the way to go, love conquers all, and if we love each other and ourselves enough, we will go for that door if it's the only way out. If we love each other, and if we respect our partner and see that it won't work. But love, I think, it gives us the energy to work, but it motivates us. But it's not enough. It's the first step. It's the ignition. But if we don't do the next steps, then the love won't be there. It won't stay.
As a final thought, what would your advice be to couples who are thinking of getting married, in respect of whether they're ready or not to actually get married?
I think that, and I read somewhere, the first person who talked about premarital counseling in the therapeutic phase, he gave them a bunch of questions to answer, to see if they were on the same page, if they had the same goals. And I think that is the first way to test the water, is to check if we have the same dreams, if we can listen to each other's dreams and accept them and contain them, or if we think that we have to, if we feel we have to change each other and fix each other's dreams. I don't think we're ready to get married yet. That's not really staying on stable ground. But you should really give yourself the time until you feel safe enough. And I think that a really good way to test the water is, do I feel safe enough to tell him that I'm not ready? Can he listen that I'm not ready? And if it is, then that's great. That means we've grown together and we're increasing and enhancing our relationship.
Thank you, Keren. Thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you, too, Jim.